Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and let me ask you something that may feel uncomfortably familiar. Have you ever gone to bed believing you're doing everything right, eating clean, choosing fruit over junk, staying active, yet you wake up tired, puffy, and strangely heavier in your body, as if something inside you is quietly slipping out of balance? Here's the urgent truth most people never hear until it's too late. You can lose nearly half of your kidney function without pain, without warning, without a single dramatic symptom. No alarms, no red flags, just silent damage building day after day, until one routine blood test casually mentions that your creatinine is a little high. And what makes this even more dangerous is that the cause is rarely fast food or soda. It's often hiding in plain sight inside the very fruits you trust every morning to keep you healthy. But before fear takes over, stay with me, because there is a clear, practical way out. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to recognize the hidden danger, and more importantly, how to use the right foods to protect your kidneys before this silent problem decides the future for you. Most people don't realize this, but fruit doesn't become dangerous because it's bad. It becomes dangerous because your kidneys change before your habits do. When your kidneys are strong, they quietly filter potassium, natural sugars, and phosphorus every single day without complaint. You eat a banana, drink a glass of orange juice, maybe add some melon, and your body handles it just fine. No drama, no symptoms. Everything feels normal. But when kidney function starts to decline even slightly, that same breakfast turns into a silent stress test. Your body is failing without telling you. Potassium begins to build up instead of flushing out. Phosphorus lingers in the blood instead of being cleared. Fructose, the natural sugar in fruit, fuels inflammation inside already fragile kidney tissue. Nothing hurts. Nothing feels urgent. Yet damage is quietly stacking up. I remember a patient who truly believed he was doing everything right. Early 60s, never drank soda, rarely touched fast food, every morning started the same way: one banana, a tall glass of orange juice, and a bowl of melon. Doctor, he said, this is the healthiest part of my day. But his creatinine kept climbing, slowly at first, then faster. When we broke down that single breakfast, it contained more potassium and sugar than his weakened kidneys could safely handle in an entire day. This isn't opinion, it's physiology. Elevated potassium increases the risk of dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. High phosphorus stiffens the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, turning flexible filters into rigid pipes. And excess fructose triggers oxidative stress, accelerating kidney scarring at the cellular level. Studies show that people with early kidney impairment who regularly consume high potassium, high sugar fruits experience a significantly faster decline in filtration rate compared to those who choose lower burden options. And here's the most uncomfortable truth: food that is healthy for a healthy kidney is not automatically safe for a stressed one. That's the trap. People don't destroy their kidneys with junk. They overwhelm them with foods they trust. Day after day, smoothie after smoothie, fruit bowl after fruit bowl. By the time creatinine rises, the damage has already been rehearsed thousands of times. If this sounds familiar, pause for a moment. Have you ever felt bloated, heavy, or unusually tired after a clean fruit-based breakfast? If so, you're not alone, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're just missing one critical piece of information. But knowing what harms your kidneys is only the first step. Because there are fruits that don't overload your system, fruits that actually take work away from your kidneys instead of adding to it. And the first one is so simple, so common, that most people completely overlook its power. If the last part made you uneasy, that's a good thing, because now it's time to talk about relief. Real relief. Not supplements, not detox trends, not complicated rules. One of the most kidney-friendly foods on the planet is sitting quietly in almost every kitchen, and most people dismiss it as too simple to matter. The apple. I want you to understand something important here. Apples don't help your kidneys by doing something dramatic. They help by taking work away from them. And when kidneys are already stressed, that difference is everything. A medium apple contains relatively low potassium, making it safe even for people with moderate kidney impairment. But the real power of an apple isn't what it contains, it's what it removes. I once worked with a patient who told me, "It feels like my kidneys are always tired." He wasn't wrong. His lab results showed rising phosphorus levels, which meant his kidneys were struggling to clear waste efficiently. We didn't add medications. We didn't overhaul his diet. We simply added 1 apple a day, eaten slowly with the peel. Within weeks, his phosphorus stabilized and his creatinine stopped climbing. Nothing fancy, just physiology working the way it was designed to. Here's why that happens. Apples are rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that acts like a magnet inside your digestive system. And instead of forcing your kidneys to filter every toxin and excess mineral from your blood, pectin binds waste, especially phosphorus, in your gut and carries it out through your stool. Think of it as a backup filtration system that gives your kidneys a chance to breathe. Science backs this up. Research published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that people who consume adequate soluble fiber have significantly better phosphorus control and slower kidney function decline. Apples also contain polyphenols like quercetin and chlorogenic acid compounds shown to reduce kidney-related inflammation and oxidative stress. Less inflammation means less scarring. Less scarring means better filtration over time. There's another advantage people overlook. Apples have a low glycemic index, which means they don't spike blood sugar. Stable glucose protects the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, the same vessels that get damaged first in diabetic and age-related kidney disease. One long-term study following over 10,000 adults found that people who ate an apple daily had a noticeably lower risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who didn't. This is why consistency matters more than complexity. You don't need apple juice. You don't need apple supplements. You need the real thing with the peel, eaten regularly. Simple, affordable, sustainable. But here's the twist. While apples quietly reduce the workload on your kidneys, they don't fully address one of the most destructive forces behind kidney decline: inflammation itself. And that's where the next fruit changes the game completely. If apples quietly reduce the workload on your kidneys, then blueberries do something even more powerful. They calm the internal fire that's slowly destroying them. Because here's what most people don't realize. Kidney decline isn't just about waste buildup. It's about chronic inflammation quietly damaging kidney tissue day after day, long before lab numbers spiral out of control. I once met a woman in her late 50s who was doing what many people consider the perfect healthy routine. Every morning she blended a smoothie packed with bananas, mangoes, and melon. No sugar, no junk. Yet her kidney numbers kept creeping up. She felt confused, frustrated, almost betrayed by her own efforts. We didn't tell her to quit fruit, we told her to choose the right one. She replaced her smoothie base with half a cup of blueberries just 3 to 4 times a week. 5 months later, her creatinine stabilized. No new medication, no extreme diet, just less inflammation. Blueberries work because they go where damage actually happens. They're loaded with anthocyanins, the deep blue pigments that give blueberries their color, and these compounds are among the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories known to nutrition science. Unlike many antioxidants that circulate briefly and disappear, anthocyanins are able to reach kidney tissue itself, helping neutralize oxidative stress right at the source. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that anthocyanins can reduce inflammatory markers linked to kidney damage by up to 40 to 50% with regular intake. That's not a subtle effect, that's a meaningful slowdown of the very process that scars kidney filters over time. And the benefits don't stop there. Blueberries also improve insulin sensitivity, which matters because unstable blood sugar is one of the fastest ways to accelerate kidney decline, even in people who are not diabetic. In one large nutrition study, people who consumed blueberries regularly showed significantly better long-term blood sugar control and lower blood pressure. 2 factors directly tied to kidney survival. Even a modest drop of 4 to 6 points in systolic blood pressure translates to a measurable reduction in kidney disease progression risk over the years. What makes blueberries so effective is also what makes them safe. They're relatively low in potassium, easy to portion, and don't flood your system with fructose. Fresh or frozen both work. Freezing doesn't destroy anthocyanins. Half a cup eaten slowly added to oatmeal yogurt or enjoyed on its own is enough to send a powerful message to your kidneys. It's safe to calm down now. And that's the key. Healing isn't about forcing your body to work harder. It's about creating an environment where it can finally stop fighting itself. But while blueberries calm inflammation, they don't fully address another silent problem that determines whether kidney cells merely survive or actually begin to repair themselves. And that next factor might surprise you even more. If blueberries calm the fire inside your kidneys, Then red and purple grapes do something even more rare. They help your body switch on repair mode. And this is where the story changes from protection to recovery. Because surviving damage is one thing, rebuilding from it is another. I want to tell you about a patient who once said something that stayed with me. He looked at his lab results, shook his head, and asked Doctor, "One's kidney cells are damaged. Is that it? Is there no way back?" That question captures the fear most people carry quietly. The truth is, kidney cells don't regenerate easily, but they can repair, adapt, and function better when the internal environment is right. This is where red and purple grapes matter. Inside their thin, dark skins lives a compound called resveratrol, a molecule studied extensively for its role in longevity and cellular repair. Resveratrol activates a family of proteins known as sirtuins, especially SIRT, one often called the body's repair switch. These proteins help reduce oxidative damage, clean up cellular waste, and protect DNA inside stressed kidney cells. In plain terms, resveratrol helps kidney cells stop fighting fires and start fixing what's broken. Science supports this. Research published in Kidney International observed that people with chronic kidney disease who consumed resveratrol at levels achievable through a small daily portion of red or purple grapes showed measurable improvements in kidney function markers over several months. That includes reduced inflammation and improved filtration efficiency. This isn't hype, it's biochemistry. But grapes don't stop there. They're also rich in polyphenols that keep blood vessels flexible. Remember, your kidneys are essentially made of millions of tiny blood vessels. When those vessels stiffen due to inflammation or high phosphorus, filtration suffers. Grapes help preserve elasticity, improve blood flow, and stabilize blood pressure, all critical for slowing kidney decline. Another overlooked benefit is hydration. Grapes are more than 80% water, but they hydrate gently. Not like chugging liters of water that overwhelm weakened kidneys, but like a slow, steady rinse that supports toxin removal without electrolyte shock. Portion matters here. Grapes still contain natural sugars, so this is about precision, not excess. Around 15 to 20 red or purple grapes, eaten whole with the skin 2 to 3 times a week is enough. And always choose darker grapes. The deeper the color, the higher the resveratrol content. Color in this case is chemistry. What grapes offer is something deeply reassuring, proof that your body hasn't given up on repair. It's still listening, still responding. But even repair needs cleanup, because fixing cells means little if inflammatory debris and fluid overload are still clogging the system. And that brings us to the final fruit one that works like a gentle broom, clearing what's left behind without exhausting your kidneys. If grapes help your kidneys repair, then pineapple does something just as important, but often ignored. It helps them clear what's been clogging the system all along. Because repair can't fully happen if inflammation, debris, and fluid overload are still quietly piling up in the background. Many people hear the word cleansing and immediately think of extreme detoxes, aggressive diuretics, or drinking gallons of water. That's exactly what weakened kidneys don't need. They don't need shock. They need gentle release. And that's where pineapple becomes surprisingly powerful. I once worked with a patient who struggled with swelling ankles in the evening, fingers in the morning, a constant feeling of heaviness. She assumed it was just aging. Diuretics made her dizzy. Drinking more water made her feel worse. When we added small portions of fresh pineapple a few times a week, something shifted. The swelling eased, her digestion improved, and most importantly, her kidney labs stopped trending in the wrong direction. Here's why that happens. Pineapple is naturally low in potassium, making it one of the safest tropical fruits for stressed kidneys. But its real strength lies in bromelain, an enzyme concentrated especially in the fibrous core. Bromelain breaks down inflammatory proteins and helps dissolve the debris that builds up in tissues when filtration slows down. Think of it as gently unclogging a filter rather than forcing more fluid through it. Science supports this mechanism. Studies published in Biotechnology Research International have shown that bromelain significantly reduces inflammatory markers associated with kidney stress while improving filtration efficiency. Pineapple is also rich in vitamin C, which protects kidney cells from oxidative damage and supports the immune system without overloading the kidneys. Another benefit people don't expect is how pineapple supports urine flow. It acts as a mild natural diuretic, encouraging waste removal, without stripping electrolytes or triggering dehydration. This is especially important for people who already feel fatigued or lightheaded when using stronger diuretics. But precision matters. Canned pineapple loses most of its bromelain due to heat processing. Juice spikes sugar and removes fiber. What works is fresh pineapple, sliced by hand, including a bit of the core. Half to 1 cup 2 to 3 times a week is enough. No extremes, no detox drama. What pineapple teaches us is a final lesson. Kidney healing doesn't come from force. It comes from rhythm. Reduce the load, calm the fire, support repair, and gently clear what remains. But knowing the right fruits alone still isn't the full story, because there's one final factor, often ignored, rarely discussed, that can quietly determine whether all of this leads to stability or whether kidney decline continues despite your best intentions. Before we finish, I want you to hear this clearly. Your kidneys are not broken. They are tired, yes, but they are also incredibly resilient. They've worked for you through years of stress, late nights, dehydration, medications, and habits you didn't even realize were hurting them. And they're still here, still filtering, still protecting you every single day. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this: healing doesn't require perfection. It requires awareness, consistency, and patience. Small choices, choosing the right fruits, eating in balance, giving your body time to rest, can quietly change the direction of your kidney health over time. You don't have to do everything at once. Just start where you are. If this information helped you, please save this video, not for today, but for the days when you need a reminder that you do have options. And consider subscribing to the channel, because I regularly share clear, science-based medical guidance to help you protect your kidneys, lower creatinine, and care for your health before problems become permanent. And finally, remember this: hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is built through understanding and action. Your kidneys have been fighting for you for years. When you start fighting for them gently, consistently, and wisely, they respond. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one steady step at a time.